Here we go. Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 11th of November, and welcome to your live market brief. As always, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Francois. I'm your market analyst here at ATFX Africa, and well, this is where we break down technicals, fundamentals, and add just a little bit of common sense because, well, let's face it, markets don't always make sense. Before we do get started though, please, as always, remember that everything that I will be sharing with you during this session is for informational purposes only, and at no point in stage during this session will I be providing financial advice. As long as we are all clear on those facts, then this is going to be an amazing session. I love the comments coming through as well so far. Got a few good mornings there. Good morning to everyone who's attending here. Please let me know where you are logging in from, and if there's any specific charts you would like me to look at today, please pop them for me into the comment section. So, financial markets are, starting the week in, I would say, a state of anticipation. The US Senate has passed a bill to, reopen the US government and end this record-long shutdown. Which, if you ask me, I am really welcoming this by now. Trading with this amount of uncertainty is difficult. But the legislation still requires approval from the House of Representatives. So, before it can be signed into law. So, as a result, we are still watching Washington extremely closely, and price action across major assets remain driven by, expectation instead of by confirmed policy. So, what that means is currently, the lack of clarity has led to consolidations across currencies, mixed sentiment across equities and cryptos, and, the general tone across the market has started to improve a little bit, however, as markets begin to price in the possibility of an operational normalization, if I can put it in such a way, in the US government over the next few coming days. So, got a lot of comments coming through. Wait, let me just read all of those quickly. Okay, so we got people here from Eswatini. I really want to go back there. I haven't been to Eswatini in a while. I miss you guys. I'm definitely going to plan a trip back to Eswatini. Yeah, beautiful place. Lovely mountains. Cape Town has one mountain. So, in Cape Town we got one mountain. And we make a big fuss about it. Eswatini has mountains all over the place. So yeah, love Eswatini. Also people from Cape Town. I'm sitting here dissing the mountain. No, sorry guys. I'm not dissing Table Mountain. Table Mountain is one of my favorite places to go in Cape Town. I live in Cape Town, so I go to Table Mountain at least once every 2 months. I love just going for a hike up Lion's Head and so forth. It's absolutely amazing. So, FX Beast is, however, asking me to have a look at gold and looking at gold and Ethereum. Okay, so cool. I'll definitely look at both. And I definitely have cryptocurrencies on the list today as well. But before we get into all of that, let's just kick things off today with currencies first. Okay, so, and I want to specifically discuss USD JPY, which we have seen that market sentiment has been the key driver behind the performance at the moment. So the dollar index is holding around 99.6, which is marking a stabilization period following several sessions of volatility, which, the anticipation. Wow, that was... For some reason, the word was there, but it didn't want to come out. The anticipation surrounding the shutdown resolution has kept the dollar from extending recent decline. So while sentiment indicators point to subdued confidence among US consumers, the latest data has shown US consumer sentiment at its lowest level in approximately 3.5 years, traders. Okay, this is the lowest consumer sentiment we have seen in 3.5 years, reflecting ongoing inflation pressure and economic uncertainty. Now, at the same time, job markets has indicated notable softening. Markets are currently assigning around a 64% probability of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut in December, reflecting the increased focus on, preventing the economic shutdown. And, this has limited dollar upside in the near term. If we have a look at Japan, the yen has slipped to around 154.1. Let's pop up the chart so we can actually have a look at that. There we go. Let's do this. Okay, so as you can see here, currently trading around 154.3. Okay, which is nearing its weakest point in 9 months. So improved risk appetite has reduced safe haven demand, while Japan is signaling a pivot towards physical stimulus. So this includes tax reductions and investment incentives aimed at supporting domestic activity. Now, such policies tend to weigh heavily on a country's currency, and in this case now the Japanese yen, and pair this with a Bank of Japan stance that remains cautious and patient on the path towards monetary tightening, and you get a yen that's seriously underperforming right now. Okay. Now the resistance level is currently sitting at 154.5, which is going to be that first notable barrier for us to break through. That then could obviously lead to 155, and who knows, maybe even 160. Okay. Just also be very cautious and wide awake and aware of the possibility of a Japan intervention. Now, support levels is sitting here around 153, then at around a 151.5, 0.6, around there. Now, these are levels to watch should sentiment shift or the US dollar start to lose momentum. Now, in the short term, USD JPY continues to respond to changes in global risk appetite. Now, a swift resolution to the US shutdown would likely weaken the yen's demand even further, reinforcing upward pressure in this pair. And then potentially we can aim for a trade all the way up to about 160. So definitely a very interesting currency pair to look out for. If we look at this on a more of an intraday level, dropping this down to around a 15-minute time frame, we can see obviously there is this bullish momentum that is currently carrying this pair higher at the moment. Now, that would obviously, actually I don't like the way that looks. Let's realign that a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. So for me currently, on a day trade, this is a very difficult one. I would wait for a break out of this bullish flag. So there's your bullish flag pattern. Or more an ascending channel pattern than a bullish flag, because bullish flag needs to go this way. So yeah, more of an ascending channel. So I would like to see a bit of a break, potentially above 154.7, and that, or like a break and then a retest, and then so if you get that clear change of character, pull back, retest, break of structure, and then we can just go to town on this, aiming for this 156 level up here. However, if we do get a breakout, and I would wait for a break of this lower level here at 153.9. Now, if we can get a break of that with a retest, we can definitely potentially see a potential retest of these lower levels here at 152.9. Okay. Welcome, Dennis. Good to see you as well. Just saw your comment pop in now as well. So welcome to the session. Yeah, if you guys have any questions on this, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to move on. Oh, wait, let me just see here. Rocast, I agree. I would wait for the further confirmation on USJPY. 100%. In most currencies currently, because the shutdown is just sitting in this weird consolidation phase, which is making it so difficult to actually get a nice clear direction. So hence why I just want this government shutdown to be over from my end. But yeah, so let's move over to cryptocurrencies. Now, for those of you who don't know, I will be attending Crypto Fest on Friday. So it's a relatively big Bitcoin event, or crypto event. Let's not call it a Bitcoin event. It's a crypto event that would be hosted here in Cape Town. It's going to be taking place at the VNA. So if you want to come say hi, if you want to chat markets a little bit in person, come meet me at Crypto Fest. Yeah, and let's chat. So happy to meet up. Just, yeah, like I said, come look for me there. It's at the VNA in Cape Town. It's on Friday. If you want to buy tickets, just head to the Crypto Fest website. Buy your tickets. I'm not a sponsor or anything for this specific event, so it's purely support for the community. So me asking you to, buy a ticket, nothing in it for me. I'm literally just supporting the entire community and so forth. Dennis, it's this Friday, so literally in 3 days. So I think it's the 14th. It's Friday's date. So yeah, Friday the 14th, and obviously of November. And it's an all-day event here in Cape Town at the VNA. So yeah, as I said, if you want to come out, you want to have a bit of a chat, you want to discuss markets, feel free to come and see me there. We're happy to meet all of you as well. Okay. I would love to meet you in person and get more familiar with everyone. Would love to see you there. As I just stated, just please remember, you do need to buy a ticket before attending. So just search Crypto Fest 2025 and yeah, grab a ticket there, and then I will see you at the actual event. Now, speaking about crypto, Bitcoin is currently trading near 105,000, 105,300, I think the last time I looked. Essentially unchanged from previous sessions. Now, if we think about, however, the stability, I would kind of say, that we are currently seeing in Bitcoin is noteworthy, given the recent volatility experienced across other digital markets. Okay, now improved risk sentiment following signals of political progress in Washington has encouraged selective buying in Bitcoin, following declines that we saw through late October and early November. Now, we did also see crypto-linked equities that showed a similar rebound, signaling that speculative capital is returning, but it's returning cautiously. Okay. Now, from a broader perspective, if we're looking at Bitcoin is currently down approximately 8% over the past 4 weeks. Yet it is still up 20% over the past year. Now, this indicates that despite near-term volatility, the longer trend remains intact. The recent price action suggests consolidation below that 108,000 level. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up quickly for you guys. Give me a second. Okay. So Bitcoin actually dipped a little bit further after I looked this morning. And it's currently sitting at 105,100. Okay, now as I was saying, this 108,000 resistance zone here, which has acted as a ceiling for several sessions, is that next barrier that we need to break at the moment. Now, Bitcoin often serves as an earlier indicator of broader market risk appetite. So should confidence continue to stabilize as the government reopens in the US and data reporting resumes, okay? Because also remember, we have a large amount of reports outstanding at the moment that needs to then be released. And with that, Bitcoin could be positioned to retest upper resistance levels. But we would need a break of this 108 level first, which then could drive us up to about 112, or even this early or late October high point here at 116. Now, as you can see here, we are currently rejecting this 100 EMA quite significantly and quite harshly at the moment. So if I'm dropping this down to, let's go to about a 30 minutes. Let's see what it looks like here. So there we go. Chart took a while to load. Now on a 30 minute, we can see here as well, now trading on that 100 EMA on the lower time frame as well. We did get a change of character earlier today as well on this time frame. So now this is basically that retest. So if we do get a break of structure here, which would be around 104,600, around there, that could open the door to a very short-term short, a short-term short, potentially back down to this low point here at 101, let's call it 101,500. Now, that is, even if you just, like I did move my stop on this one a little higher, but this gives you a proper 1 to 2.5 risk to reward. So definitely a very, very nice setup. Otherwise, we need to wait for a break above that resistance zone. And again, then a retest before entering. So I wouldn't enter into any long positions as yet, but there is a potential possibility if we get a break of structure here for just a little bit of a push down to this lower level here. But even on the RSI, we will most probably still see, as you can see, it's on a very low level here. So we'll probably see a little bit of consolidation, maybe a smaller push higher, just for this to go back to about 50 before we might come back for that retest at that low point. I do know that someone asked for Ethereum as well. And looking quite similar at this point here. So let me just drag these across. So yeah. So we did get that nice bounce on Ethereum at that 3,150 level, which is also the 50 fib. If you have a look at this fib levels that I drew in here from that high to this low, you can see now we're back at the 38 fib at the moment as well. So definitely a strong resistance at this point of stage, but definitely a very, very nice bounce that we got a few days ago here on that 50 fib level and now driving this higher. So looking at lower time frames, again, still trading below this 38 level. So before looking for any upside, similar to Bitcoin, needs to break a bit of a higher level. So I would say this 3,660 level, retest, and then we can aim for this 3,900 and let's call it 30, 40. Yeah, so 3,000, let's call it 3,930. So potentially for that level up there. Or alternatively, if we get a break and then a retest of this 3,500 level, we could potentially see a retest of this 3,340 level. Now, Rocast, as a question, how does that line up with what you are currently seeing on Ethereum on your end? Geez, look at that Bitcoin. Yeah, it's definitely doing quite well. Okay, so definitely some opportunities, there in the market as well. Okay, so I see. Thank you for that Ethereum analysis. Okay, perfect. Happy. Any other questions, traders? Anything that you would like to add? Anything that you would like to ask on your end? As always, please remember to click that like button. And if you are unable to comment, it's because you haven't subscribed yet. So please also remember to hit that subscribe button, which will then allow you to ask me questions and participate in the comment section as well. I believe it on a bearish momentum though. Okay, yeah, but if we do look here on the higher time frame, this larger bearish momentum is still intact. Okay, so I'm going to use this. So if you take this there to that top point, and then just look at this specific structure here, and pulling in that channel there. So you can still see that larger bearish momentum is still intact. We're still trading under the EMAs. So on a daily time frame as well, there's definitely been quite a large pullback on Ethereum. Again, broke below the EMA, so no clear bullish signals yet. Which will also then require, again, you're going to get a break here, potential retest of the top of the channel, which could then push us lower, or again, we might just see a retest with a break of structure here, and then that could go lead to a retest of the bottom of the channel, which is obviously aligning with some of those levels that I showed. Okay. So yeah, at the moment, momentum on crypto is relatively bearish. There's just strong recovery at this point in stage. But yeah, no clear, bullish momentum coming into the market to go for new highs, if that's what you're asking in that regard. Okay, I see. I just keep my stop losses tight. Okay, cool. 100%. Moving on to equities. Yes. And the final equity that I wanted to discuss today, or the actual index that I wanted to discuss today, is the Dow. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average, aka US 30. So the index is currently trading near, let's call it 47,375, which meant that it has risen approximately 0.8% amid increasing expectations that the government shutdown may be resolved soon. Okay, so the equity market's response has been concentrated, with major technology names leading the rebound at the moment. Nvidia advanced 5.8%. Palantir gained 8.8%. AMD and Micron also saw notable strength. So this follows a period of valuation-based correction within the actual technology sector, particularly among AI-related companies. Now, the recent shifts suggest that investors are selectively rearranging in growth or re-engaging, let's call it that, re-engaging in growth equities. Now, especially where demand visibility remains strong. So the resumption of government operations would also restore the release of that key economic data that we have discussed during the session so far, such as, NFP, so employment data, GDP figures, which are currently all delayed. So this reduces uncertainty and it offers clearer insight into economic momentum heading into these last months of the year. Now, over the past month, the Dow has actually gained close to 3% and is approximately 8% up over the past year. So this does reflect underlying resilience in the index, even while broader macro conditions are remaining mixed. Now, let's pull up a chart here at the moment. There we go. There we go. So, as stated, trading around 47,350 at the moment. Upward resistance is right here at this 47,450 level. So that's kind of where we need to break before we can aim for those all-time highs. But support, on the other hand, is sitting around 47,100, and then your next potential target would be these lows here at 46,500 or 490 if you want more of an exact number. Now, this is only should sentiment shift. I mean, we've broken above the EMAs again. Now we are almost at that equal high. So yes, we do need to break cleanly higher before, but there is obviously chances for a retest of the support before the next move higher. Now, the market's tone currently is best described as cautiously optimistic, with positioning influenced by expectations of monetary policy, fiscal process, and shifts in global risk perception. So definitely a lot going on in the market at the moment, but there is also a lot of opportunity currently. If we drop down to a lower time frame, we can see that we have this relative consolidation that is taking place here currently. Okay, but as well, nice little bullish flag. Now, as I said, there is a possibility for a break of this, and then for a retest of the support level, or we might see a push higher, breakout, and now it's safely get into this around 47,430. Okay, if we do aim for the upside, that'll give you a nice little stop on the opposite side of the pattern, just following pattern rules on this one. Sorry, let's try that again, and then you can aim for an easy 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, which won't even push you up to resistance. If you want to go all the way to the resistance level, you can easily get like a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. So you can definitely put in some larger trades on this as well, if possible, if you want to. Again, not giving advice, just assisting with some setups. Quick question: which indicators do you use on your charts? Primarily EMAs and RSI. From there, I draw in levels and just trade price action. I know I've been asked in the past what this is, which this is just a volume indicator because I'm using TradingView. This is the volume indicator by Lux Algo, this specific one, which just shows specific volume amount of buyers and sellers in the market at the moment, based on the ICT report. So, yeah, okay. Sweet setup advice. Thank you, Francois. Absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, I think that kind of brings us to the end of today's session. Now, tomorrow, we will definitely see some critical development to watch. Maybe even later today, we are obviously going to wait for progress of the reopening bill in the House of Representatives. So that's a big one that we need to watch for. A smooth overall process there may strengthen the dollar and increase risk appetite. So it could be very positive for stocks. Now, second one is a shift in Federal Reserve expectations. Any changes may impact both currencies, equities, even cryptocurrencies. So, should the shutdown end without further delay, US dollar direction may become clearer, and correlating markets such as silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dow, S&P, and everything else will likely follow suit with more defined momentum. Okay. So on that note, if there's no further questions, please remember, as always, this market brief was brought to you by ATFX Africa, who is the broker that is currently providing you an edge in today's markets. If you want to experience the difference for yourself, simply click on the link in the description, head over to their website, and go and give it a test so that you can actually see it's not just something that I say in every one of my videos. Okay. FX Beast, please look at gold. Oh, shucks. Yeah, sure. Let's quickly pull up a gold chart. Also remember, at ATFX, you are also able to trade gold ZAR. And if you've never traded gold ZAR, this is actually a really nice pair to trade, based on fundamental and price action. So, I mean, look at this very, very clean price action here, nice little resistance, clean break of structure, push higher. So, again, an actual pair that you can trade at ATFX. So definitely, maybe if you are a gold lover, go have a look at gold ZAR. It's an amazing currency pair to trade. So looking at gold, so I actually showed this little consolidation here on Friday's analysis, where, I mean, if we look here there was that lovely retest, break of structure, and obviously that setup now has relatively played out. If we do have look here, we have gotten this equal low over here. We've gotten a nice break of structure here, but personally, before entering a buy, I would still want to see a break of that high point right there. So if we do get a break of that high point, you can look for a potential entry around, I would say, 4,150. That setup would require you to put your stop loss around here, which is around 4,120, 22. And to get about a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, you're going to have to aim for around 4,208. So that's the general setup here at the moment. Obviously, please remember, should the dollar strengthen due to the US reopening, this could very quickly come to retest these low points here at 3,900. Okay. So when entering into long positions at the moment, also look here, there is quite a lot of resistance here at the moment at that 4,150 level. So that is definitely a key level that needs to be broken first. But as I stated, don't get too comfortable on this one. If US market reopens, dollar strength returns, this could quickly come back for a retest of these lower levels, and not just shoot up higher. If obviously the government shutdown drags, this can definitely go to retest those all-time highs at around 4,395. Okay. So Dennis actually said he had an 80% success rate last week just based on the analysis shared. That's absolutely amazing. I love getting feedback like that. So thank you for everything. Good day, everyone. Have a blessed one. Oh, yeah. Gold definitely in the zone yesterday. Nice. Buy zone since yesterday. I mean, okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Traders, I think that wraps it up for today. Thank you so much. Until I see you next time, which would be in tomorrow's market brief, stay sharp, stay focused, and trade smart.